What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Hidden Gems, episode 22. Episode 22 with my man Bryan Carter, coming in to the Corona Lounge, as I like to call it, here during the quarantine, man. I hope everybody's cool. What's up, Brad? I see you, bro. Good to see you, dog. Where you at in the world now, man? You might be in, I don't know, Thailand? I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, man. So, yeah, today we have Bryan Carter coming in, all that good stuff. And, yeah, 22nd episode. I just want to say, first of all, thank you to everybody who's been tuning in, watching the thing. You know, this is an artist, BK Habermel, and I heard this on Insecure. I was like, yo, I'm playing this for the first joint. So yeah, man, like I said, it's good to see people. I want to thank our sponsors, Shannon Fashions, who's been doing masks for everybody during the quarantine, and also Jam of the Week, who has been spreading the word, you know, promoting and all that great stuff. So I appreciate y'all, man. So without further ado, let me add my man BC in here.
Yo,
BC.
what's up, man?
What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
You know, hanging in there. Happy apocalypse.
Happy apocalypse. Hey, you got the New York fitted on, man. That's a vibe. You gonna have a fro by the time this is over.
Oh man, it's already kind of crazy.
Hey, bro, you just gotta let it hang out, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
Man.
I haven't shaved for all of quarantine, so it's...
How does it feel joining the beard gang accidentally?
This is about as much of a beard as I can get at this point, even though I am a grown man. About as close as I'm getting to a beard, so I'm enjoying it. We're gonna see how I'm
just see how it could go. You know, see, I could get hair here, but I can't get hair here, so I gotta constantly keep it clean. Yeah, I was like, well, if I could get hair on the bottom, that's where it's going. So, well, you know,
right now it's out of control everywhere from me. So I don't know.
Nah, you gotta be vulnerable, man. You gotta be vulnerable. So, what is about this? Yeah, man. So since this has happened, first of all, were you in the country when they were like, everybody needs to be in a house?
Yeah, I was in New York. I was supposed to leave, I guess, the following week. It would have been Savannah Music Festival. And that did not happen. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. I think my last gig, well, I mean, yeah, you know, same thing. I had a couple of things set up. I had a couple of dates ready to go, but my last gig was like March 13th. It was or the 14th, you know, like it was Corey's set at Fat Cat. I mean, at Smalls.
Right.
And then after that, it was like, all right, well, that's it. Good night.
I mean, mine kind of came in blocks. I feel like I was going to say waves, but it was really just like block of gigs canceled, block of gigs canceled, you know. It was like all the in-town stuff, ironically, went kind of last, like the touring. We had some really exciting things, you know.
Oh, bro, 2020 was looking sweet for a lot of people. I mean, it was the best
year of my life. Yeah.
I can't say that it was. I can't say that it was like cracking for everybody, but I know for me that joint was looking real sweet. And then yeah, you know. And you know what? Go ahead.
I can't open up my calendar because it's just like, bro, my birthday this year was supposed to be in Italy, in Orvieto at the festival with Emmett and Yasushi, you know, and like opening for Winton. Like that was supposed to be like my birthday this year. And it's like,
wait, when you're in July too, right? Or
yeah,
June?
July 11th.
July. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. You and Brent Burkhead have the same birthday.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm on the 7th. I share with I think Caroline Davis is me, Stuart Minderman. It's a bunch of July 7th musicians.
Cancer.
You know? Yeah. Cancer season.
Cancer season.
More like canceled season. It's over. Zoom birthdays for the rest of the year.
Doing everything for the rest of the year.
I know, man. So, cool. I'm we could probably jump into some music a little bit later. I guess I'll start with some questions for you. So, somebody let's start with it. Let's start with this fan question. Somebody asked, what is a jazz album that still blows you away? That's from Zachary. What is a jazz album that still blows you away?
What's a jazz album that still blows me away? Yesterday I spent a lot of time listening to Jimmy Cobb. Yes.
Rest in peace to Jimmy Cobb. Let's start. We should start there. Rest in peace to the great drummer, Jimmy Cobb. I have some other thoughts on that whole situation. I mean, I think that's another conversation. But I'll just start it by saying, at one point, because of his medical expenses, Jimmy had to, the family behind Jimmy Cobb or the estate behind Jimmy Cobb had to start a GoFundMe page, and I really think that's getting to be unacceptable. Musicians of that caliber, the masters of this music, shouldn't have to start a GoFundMe page to pay for medical expenses.
Yeah, especially when they play on the most successful jazz touring of all time.
That's what I'm saying. So we gotta figure out as a community how we're going to demand better treatment for ourselves. If we can be included in uninsurance benefits, we should be able to be included in health benefits and things of that nature, but we got to figure out how to demand that, because, we shouldn't be worrying about healthcare. There's too many musicians out here, too many talented musicians that don't have insurance. And it's just getting really unacceptable. Yeah. Henry said he got paid $100 for that recording with no royalties on the Kind of Blue album.
That ain't right. What's up, man?
What's up? Shout out to Henry Conaway. That's my man.
Yeah.
But yeah. So listen, guys, if you have questions or anything like that for Bryan or myself, please, it's the questions box here on the bottom. Feel free to leave any questions, all that good stuff. Yeah, man. So yeah, go ahead. You were saying you were listening to the Jimmy Cobb album. I went on the
Jimmy Cobb album, and just records I haven't listened to in a long time. Everything from West Montgomery records to Joe Henderson's 4 record to even Kind of Blue. That I haven't listened to in a long time. Just spend all day listening to records. Man, these are incredible records.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's a thing with just popularity and familiarity in jazz when you spend so much time with a record and you move away from it. You sometimes forget what makes these records incredible, and you come back to it and you're there it is.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Well, I really wanted you on the show because not only are you an incredible, drummer, incredible composition person as well, writing great, arranger, but you're also, I think, important to the culture as a content creator. You created the Young Swangers brand. You've created quarantunes that have really taken off. Your TikTok is popping. The vlogs are popping. So, I wanted to kind of delve into a lot of that stuff. So let's start with the shirt, because you got the shirt on. So let's jump into that now. So what was the idea behind Young Swangers? And have you been surprised by the popularity of the merchandise?
Yeah. So
Zildjian just said Young Swangers.
It kind of came. Zildjian in the house. What's up, Zildjian? Best cymbal company in the world.
Shout out to Zildjian.
Shout out to Zildjian, for real. Sorry, I was reading this comments.
No. It's cool. We'll get back to that question. I see it. Magic innovation. I see you. Thank you for the question. We will come back to that. So yeah.
I think it kind of all started in the beginning with Instagram. When I joined Instagram, when was this? Like maybe 2013 or 2014. When I joined Instagram, it was before Facebook had purchased the company, I believe. And it really was this community growing platform where like you could meet people and connect with people.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't really have anything to do with like virality and algorithms in the way that it does now. Like the thing was like, you would get on Instagram and you would meet people and they would have like these Instagram meetups and you would meet people in real life. And I made real life friends from Instagram. One of my really close friends, we became close through Instagram. I was in his wedding, you know, so.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a real community building platform. Not to say that it's not now, but it's definitely a different.
It's a different energy, you know.
Yeah, it's a different thing.
A lot of brands happening, you know. Yeah. I got you. Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's what happens when any business grows. But hashtags were, you know, great ways to start building communities. And like, I think I posted Young Swangers on like the first photo. And I didn't even really think anything about it. I don't even think I did it on the next couple, and I did it again, and I did it again. And then I started seeing other people using it. And so that's kind of how it began. But yeah, when I first started like using Instagram for music, you know, I would get people would talk all kinds of crazy about me for bringing GoPros to gigs and for like carrying around. At the time I was shooting vlogs on an iPad, like walking
silly them.
Well, no, it was like people were wearing me out for doing it. Like, what are you doing? You know, and it was a thing. Yeah. that's kind of how it started. But yeah, I felt very ostracized for using jazz and social media in the way that I was doing.
Well, I think with any innovation, you know, and which is something that I'm learning. The first thing people are going to do is criticize it, because people don't like change. They don't like thinking about change and how it's going to go. Like what this quarantine has done has forced people into adapting. You see what I'm saying? Like, I mean, adapting. I mean, adapting technology, adapting. Yeah, really technology. Like I mean, you don't have no other choice to communicate with nobody. You know, it's like, I mean, you could call people and stuff, but I mean, still that's tech, you know. But like, I could see how people being on gigs, if you got a camera around and it's like, oh man, you got this camera, what you doing? You know,
why are you setting that up?
Why are you trying to record yourself and document history? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Interesting, man. So yeah, you started rolling around with the GoPro, recording gigs, you know, recording your playing, and then yeah, so eventually it turned into, hey, maybe I should start a vlog, you know.
Right.
You getting a lot of love from the drummers, man. The drumming.
Cats, man.
Yeah.
Andreas and Henry and Cats. Man, yeah, I started the vlog. The original incarnation of the vlog was also maybe 2013, 2014.
Wow.
And it was like my iPhone 4 or whatever iPhone it was then, and
Yeah.
like second generation iPad, walking around like this and trying to capture things. And
Yeah.
I knew nothing about video editing. I knew nothing about like really how to film anything. So it was like thumbs and frames and really horrible composition. Can't hear things sometimes. Yeah, that was kind of the first incarnation of the vlog. But yeah, it became a thing where eventually I was just filming everything, and I wasn't even, you know, making the vlogs anymore. I had kind of gotten discouraged again, kind of by people's response, and it was like, I just won't do it anymore. And when I decided I wanted to bring it back 2 years ago, it was like, I'm going to bring it back in a way that's so high quality and so well done that I don't care. When people come for me. I remember being at Jazz Congress, maybe it was like a year ago. I
remember that too. It was really nice to see you on that platform for me personally, because I was like, man, he's been putting in this. I've seen it, we've known each other for years. Yeah. I've seen you from 2013, 2014, starting with the vlogs, and then I saw and I've seen how they evolved into like these high-end productions, like titles and shit and all types of stuff. And so I was like, man, like to see, I was glad that you were getting recognized for that, because again, a lot of times with this music specifically, technology misses the boat. Jazz is always the last one to catch up to what everybody's been doing. You see what I'm saying? Yes. Like, why don't we have a versus battle? You know what I'm saying? And stuff like there's things that we could be doing as a community to push this music to people who might not hear the music, but we it's like, no, man, you got to get on our wave. It's like, no, we need to get on your wave. We need to figure out how to relate to people. Right. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm going off on tangents all over the place.
Well, man, yeah, after that panel, I remember going downstairs to Whole Foods and like the spot with like the beer and the dumplings, and just sitting there, bunch of different cats, and like, I had like the camera out and it's feeling good. We just had this really amazing panel, and I got Gary Bartz on the vlog, and I was talking to Grace Kelly, and just hanging with people. And I saw Desron, and I had like the camera, and I was like, Des, and he was like, oh no, not the camera. I was like, oh man, don't worry, it gets like cut up into very small pieces. And and like someone who he's with, who's like who's younger musician that I respect, is just like, who does that? Who has a and it was like, even that, I just spent an hour on a panel talking about like why this is important. And afterwards, I like go downstairs and like she's like going off about me having like a camera. I was just like, all right, I get it.
Man, yeah, again, if somebody is putting something out there that defames you or whatever, that's a conversation you can have. But we got to document this stuff some way, shape, or form. Not private conversations. I'm not saying that private conversations should be documented. I'm not saying that, we need cameras all over, but we do need cameras capturing the moments in between gigs. Because when people see us, they just see us playing, which is cool. I mean, people respect that, but they don't know, like, people know what Beyonce like to eat for breakfast. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different, They got to know you personally on some type of level so they can be able to relate. And we're missing that connection, And that was a part of really the reason that I started doing these, was because it was like, man, it's not just these cats are musicians, these cats are people, and they're relatable and they're personable, So
and you've had great cat. Who do you have this week?
This week I got, year today, Baylor Project is on Friday.
Yeah.
Baylor Project, and then Eric Reed is on Sunday.
Oh, Papa Reed, yeah.
It should be a vibe.
No, you have great people on. You had Ruben James on this week.
I had Ruben on Sunday. He he did a couple of songs acoustically. It was dope. It was dope. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. I've always been super interested in trying to capture humanity, and kind of just showing that we're regular people, and beyond that, showing that there are young people who want to play jazz and want to be involved in or Black American music or acoustic music, whatever you want to call it, American music, Yeah. Find that there are young people who want to be involved. I mean, I remember a big thing for me, and just kind of the way that I viewed jazz in general. I remember, this had to be maybe 2013, 2014, being at a conference I won't name, and like the music was just like in a really weird state. I felt it was like a young musician who's 23, 24 years old, and trying to get gigs and actually kind of like navigating the jazz marketplace for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, this is in really bad shape. And, you know, being at this conference and like all these promoters and bookers stand up and they're like, this is the best year jazz has ever had. This is great. And like patting themselves on the back. And I was just like, what are y'all smoking? Like, what did you
you know who getting the money, right? Yeah, this is the best year of jazz ever. All the promoters and the bookers.
And I was like, what? And that year I played a show in Boston at Harvard, and we had a day off. Yeah. And I was playing with like a pretty, I mean, for jazz, like a pretty popular artist. And we played our show at the theater, and it was like well attended, but it was just like, you know, it's kind of the usual run of the mill, like 75 plus, you know, gray-haired people, you know, and in this room. And, you know, my friend was like, do you want to come to this folk show tonight that I'm going to? And I was like, all right, something that's gonna be like a similar kind of thing. And we go to the show, this cat, Tallest Man on Earth. And it was at like the massive theater in Boston, and it was completely sold out, and it was filled with young people. And it was just like this cat on stage with a guitar singing like acoustic folk music. And I was like, why can't we get to whatever he's doing, get to that? It's not like what he's doing is like any more. I mean, this isn't a Britney Spears concert. It's not like pyrotechnics and, you know, people dancing on stage. And I was like, this is very simple. It's this cat playing acoustic music
by itself.
I himself on stage. Like,
all the money. He getting all.
There's nothing crazy about it. So I was like trying to figure out in my mind, like in something in my mind, it didn't connect. And I was like,
well, you know. I just had an interesting thought. A lot of times these promoters, especially not even older promoters, but a lot of times promoters, when they're promoting, they're trying to promote to a jazz audience, right? And the reality is we don't, you know, the phrase preaching to the choir. We keep preaching to the choir, and then therefore we keep gathering the same people. Which, you know, I mean, you know, as we know, the market's not that big. What promoters need to start doing is trying to appeal to people who don't listen to the music. We need to promote to them. We need to promote to the people who aren't listening, because a lot of times when they're not listening, they probably went to some club and heard some terrible jazz artist and was just like, oh, I hate jazz. Because the genre of jazz, it's not like, yo, somebody will be like, yo, you know, I like Bryan Carter, but I don't necessarily like, you know, another artist. I ain't gonna say no names because I'm just making the point. But it's like, yeah, I like Bryan Carter, but I don't like this person. It's like if they hear bad jazz, they're like, I don't think I like jazz. You know, so we got to figure out a way to promote to the people who aren't necessarily tied into the music as deeply as we are. And I think that's one thing that we miss, you know, due to lack of exposure on the radio. And the fact that, again, the promoters are promoting to the people who already like the music. In my, you know, personal opinion.
No, that's I mean, I think it comes down to other things too. There's like this cat's like put jazz on Hot 97.
That would be a vibe on the low though. Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, some of it is killing, man. You hear some of the stuff and it'd be more smacking than the stuff they got on now.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a sense of martyrdom that comes with being a jazz musician, especially being at school at Juilliard. Like, I heard all the time that you have to like suffer for the music and you have to be willing to die for the music, and then it's just like the overarching thing of just like you have to be poor and pitiful and suffer to be a jazz musician. And it's like that in and of itself seems backwards and strange to me. But there's a sense of martyrdom that comes with the music, and also within jazz, we've built this sense of honoring and respecting to the point of just like there's an untouchable ceiling, an untouchable legacy. I talk about this all the time with Lucas Pino. You know,
Mm.
friend. And
Shout out to Lucas, man. Yeah, Lucas, you can have the deepest conversations with Lucas. I love Lucas so much.
But it's like, because we've done that and we've set ourselves up for that. It's like, you know, when a radio station like Hot 97 goes to put on music, like their focus is, you know, trying to play new artists, and there's a constant sense in, you know, I work a ton in you know, the pop space and country, and I get to see and navigate between these worlds, and there's a ton of attention being paid to how to develop new artists, how to develop young artists. It's a constant turnover of, let's promote new artists, let's expand the marketplace, let's team this person up with this person, let's have this collaboration happen, and that doesn't occur in jazz. They don't care about promoting or creating new artists. They have Miles Davis, and they have Wayne Shorter, and they have Joe Henderson, and they have Jimmy Cobb, and who are all incredible musicians, but the same attention's not paid to promoting new artists.
I hear that. I mean, you know, I was pleasantly surprised. I don't know if you saw this, but Louis Armstrong, like, Google searches went up 19% or something during the quarantine. and it's incredible, right? But I think now the key is to try to the next generation that are coming up and again are creating great music, creating great content. We have to figure out a platform that we have where we can really focus on that, you know, focus on the people now. And, you know, while still honoring the people of the past. This is, you know, it's a fine line that I think we're all trying to navigate and get through together, you know? Yeah. Cool. So when it comes to video editing, can you talk about, you know, some tips for somebody who might want to edit video, maybe not super strong at it or working on it? Like, what programs do you use specifically to do your editing?
Yeah, I just use really one program primarily, and that's Final Cut Pro. And basically, it's kind of like a souped up version of iMovie. For a lot of basic editing where you're just putting clips together, you know, you can start with iMovie and figure out how that works.
Yeah.
And a lot of the information I know about, like editing video and shooting video, came from YouTube. Just watching hours and hours of YouTube videos and YouTube tutorials on how to create content.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really as simple as that. It's as simple as jumping into it.
Got you. Yeah. So you went on YouTube, looked up video editing things, and then you said Final Cut Pro. Is that did you have to pay for that, or was it free? Or
yeah, I think it was like, it came in a pack with other programs. It came in a pack with Logic and Compressor and Motion, Mansage.
That will be the program that I will be buying. Thank you.
Yeah, I can't remember how much it was, but it's probably like $350, I imagine. But for right now, everything from Apple is free for 90 days. So if you want to get your chops together, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah. Got you. So, you know, you and I, we have a commonality. We both got our well, you have your master's too, or just your bachelor's?
I'm a lowly undergrad.
Got you. No, not lowly. No, you know. But we both have the commonality of having really good teachers, and I think everybody does. But we've also had some unpleasant experiences in the university setting. So I wanted to ask you, what is the biggest lesson that you've learned from good teachers, and what is the biggest lesson that you've learned from bad teachers?
Yeah, I think there's something really special about a good teacher and about mentorship. You know, something that I talk about all the time with Marcus Roberts is, like, Marcus talks about the relationship between a great mentor and their pupil. You know, it's like eventually the student is supposed to reciprocate. you know, the teaching of ideas. Like any great mentorship, it's like, you know, you teach someone how to do something, and then later, once they've reached a certain level, it's like they can share information with you as well, and it becomes transitive in that way, you know. And I think that's that kind of vulnerability and humility from a great educator is what makes a great teacher.
Got you. Who are some of who are some of the people that I guess represent mentorship for you?
Yeah, you know, like my dad, Marcus. I've had many mentors over the course of my life, and you know, I'm very blessed to have had people who want to challenge me and want to push me and, you know, want to be there and listen. I know you have as well. So
yeah, no doubt, man. So do you have a good so everybody who's listening, Bryan's father is a master educator, Ronald Carter, not to be confused with Ron Carter, the bassist, but Ronald Carter. You know, it was to the point where if Wynton had a question about the Jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra, we would be in rehearsal and he'd be like, "Hold on a second, it's Wynton. He'd probably be calling me about the band." You know, so I wanted to ask you, do you have like a favorite memory of teaching from your dad or with your dad?
Yeah, I've got lots of memories.
yeah. I mean, and not only that, but he's hard on drummers specifically. So I know for you being like, "Dad, I want to play drums." He's like, "Oh, really? Do you really want to play? How badly do you want to play drums? Like, are you?"
I was probably like 5 years old. My dad told me if I couldn't play Ride Cymbal, then I couldn't wipe my own ass.
Damn. Yeah. I mean, I got plenty of stories too, but I mean, for me, it probably Bubba Duck was my story. Is my personal story where he got on me. You know, he has a very specific way of teaching swing syllables. Day, dee, da, do, dot, dit. I mean, it's like the D syllables is supreme. Now, I never took from Clark Terry, exactly. I never took his syllable introduction class because I was a music ed major, and I just never took it. So he had us sing something, and I started with Bubba Duck, and oh my gosh, you would have thought he stopped. He was like, Bubba Duck, son. You ain't took my theory. I had to do like one-on-one private lessons with him and learn these syllables. And like he dog walked me for the rest of the year. I was Bubba Duck the rest of the year. But I mean, like I said, man, you know, iron sharpens iron, man. And he's so sharp and he's so skilled at what he does. I mean, it was a pleasure for me to work with him and to learn from him. I know I wouldn't be where I'm at without his tutelage. So shout out to Ronald Carter. I love you. I love you, Doc.
Yeah, I think it was really weird for me going from being around people who could really teach, like master educators, like, you know, my dad and Ron McCurdy and Reggie Thomas, and, you know, all these amazing people who were amazing teachers, and then going to school and being like, some of these people are not good, very good teachers.
Right. They're just good. They're just great musicians. Not every great musician makes a great teacher.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a real lack of people who are great educators, you know. Yeah. Especially in New York City. I'm just like, wow, none of you can teach at all, you know.
Yeah.
It's something you have to practice and something you have to work at. And
just like you have to work on content, you know, like that. Not every musician can create content. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing, and not every musician can. Like you said, it has to be a skill that you actually put time in and try to acquire.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt. So, because of your dad's job, you grew up well, when did you move to DeKalb? How old were you? Or Sycamore?
Four or five.
Yeah. So you grew up in Sycamore, and then you went to Juilliard, which is also a mostly white space. So I was curious, how was your experience growing up Black in these white spaces, and how did you? I feel like you're very clear on where you stand as far as issues of humanity and different political things that come up. You make your stance very known. So how did you stand tall through those experiences? Because I know sometimes growing up as being Black in those type of spaces can be kind of tough.
You think?
Yeah. I know for a fact. I mean, shoot, I went to a high school that was half and half, and even that was tough. So I couldn't imagine being like, it's just me, you know what I'm saying?
It's like
amongst a sea of folks.
Maybe like 30 of us, and we just kind of stuck together. No, yeah, I have so many experiences from growing up and learning about racism and from a young age. I think I was like 5 years old the first time maybe 4. First time I saw my dad get pulled over, and it terrified me. The way that like the university, it was after a jazz ensemble concert. He was parked over by the Home Student Center, and just like the way the police kind of like pulled up around him, and it. Especially coming from my early childhood, where I was mostly surrounded by family, and if I wasn't with family, then I was at Lincoln High School, which is a predominantly Black space, and being taken from that and put in predominantly white spaces. I was so young that I didn't even really understand the switch, because you have the insulation of your parents and your family around you.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I would go to church with all people who look like me as well. So it was like, really, it wasn't until I went to school that I realized kind of like, oh,
things are different here.
Yeah. And, from that point on, I realized that I was treated differently. I was held to a different standard, and I would, from a very young age, knowing Ron and Linda Carter.
Yes,
they taught me how to question and challenge those things, and how at the same time, the conversations started when I was 6 years old, 7 years old. But right now, you're adorable and you can get away with these things, but in a few years, you go from being adorable to becoming a threat. And now is the time that we're going to start teaching you how, when you're perceived as a threat, you can come home to us. And so those are things that I've always carried with me. In high school, I was pulled over every day, going to school, my way to school. I remember the first time my friend, Siobhan, she got her license. She was white. And I remember after a jazz band rehearsal, I don't remember. Somebody was taking me home, and I called my dad, and I was like, "Oh, Siobhan will just give me a ride." And he was like, not paying attention, so I was like, "Okay." And I was like, we're driving down the road, and I was like, "You need to not speed." And she was like, "What? Nobody. I always drive down this road every day. Drive way faster than this." And I was like, "Not with me in the car, you don't. At night." And she was like, No, it's fine." And literally like 2 seconds later, police pull up. It becomes a thing. And her dad came, and he was like, "What were you thinking? Brian's in the car. I did not raise you to be this naive. Like, what are you thinking?" So, that those were very real, formative experiences for me. And getting to spend the summers at South Shore, and like see the opposite of that
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, for
I
sure.
remember like every summer I'd be like, oh God, I don't want to go back to school. Yeah. I remember one time, all the we get a you know, like in between passing period, they have like a bell go off, and like every black student in the school was called to the office. And so we all go to the office, and they put us in the conference room, and the principal and the assistant dean walk in, dean of students, whatever. And they're like, you know, we're gonna get right to the point. You know, we've had students and parents call, and just very straightforward. We want to ask you, are you guys starting a gang? And like
wow.
at the same time, like everyone's, I'm a freshman at this point. Everyone just stops and turns and looks at me, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm the speaker.
I'll represent the gang, guys.
I've been elected to this. And I was like, I'm so sorry. What would make you think that we're starting a gang like, between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. at school? It's like, well, you all came to school and you're all wearing the same color. And I was like, what day is it? And the instructor was like, oh, it's Thursday? I was like, no, what week is it for the school? He was like, it's Spirit Week. I was like, and what's today? He was like, oh, School Color Day. Okay, you guys go back to class. And it was nothing. And I was like, all right.
We're not gonna address this blatantly racist question y'all just asked us. Huh?
I mean, there was a gang at my school. They called themselves the Hillbillies. And they would, mind you, we're in Illinois. We're hundreds of miles away from the Mason-Dixon line. But they had Confederate flags that they would put on their trucks. And, like, you know, I get a ride home from my friend Catherine Parker. And we called her Bliss. And they would, like, literally get in their car and drive around us with their trucks so that, like, we couldn't leave. We couldn't leave the school parking lot. And, you know, like, my mom and her mom, called the school, and the school swore up and down that there was nothing they could do about it because it was after school, even though it was on their property. We were like, this is an actual gang. This is a real gang.
Wow.
The Hillbillies.
Wow. Yeah. I see, man. That for some people that would have broken them, but you know, I know your dad. You was like, well, I guess it's just time to toughen up.
Yeah. I had been prepared for it. I think I read Black Like Me when I was maybe 8 years old. And
that's right.
My parents were constantly reinforcing Black art and Black literature and Black excellence in my house. And at church, it was reinforced. And it was a whole thing of knowing your identity and having that reinforced.
Yo, man. You know, let's go on to something lighter. What was your idea behind quarantines?
I mean, you know me. Let's not skate away from the.
Yo, no, hey, but you no. On some real stuff. Yo, I love it. Like I'll tell you all the time. I'm like, that's right. You know, like because you. I mean, again, your platform. I mean, you have 40,000 followers, right? I mean, a lot of different opinions. I'm sure that you hear on a regular basis when you put something up, and you're like, listen, right is right. I don't give a fuck what y'all talking about. Right is right, and I'm like, you know what I mean? You've never been scared to embrace political talk in your brand. You know, I mean, not that you're pushing it. It's not at the forefront. But if something happens, you like, hey, by the way, this happened. And this is bullshit. Now this drum thing, that's a whole different thing. But we talk about humanity. Like again, it's just I've always admired that and respected that about you because there's a lot of musicians with a lesser platform that are afraid to make that kind of stance. You see what I'm saying? And so I've always applauded the fact that you're not afraid to go there. You're not afraid to be like, yo, this is whack. And I think honestly, we as not only as musicians, but as people, we gotta let our government know this is not going to be tolerated. And a lot of times we just kind of hide behind it or we don't really address it because we're afraid of the backlash. It's like, nah, man, if cats is wrong, we gotta we got to let it be known more so. So that's, you know, that's what it is, man. But I like I said, so anyway, yeah. So the quarantines, how did that come up? Where you just sitting around like, I should get something cracking, or, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I all of a sudden had this incredible abundance of time, and something that I always wanted to learn was I really wanted to like dive deep into music production in the way that I dived into like video production. So, you know, I opened up Logic, you know, and basically I knew how to like press play and how to stop it and like how to add it. I didn't know anything about producing music, so I spent
it's gonna be a rough month when I get this computer, because I'm gonna be learning Logic and all of the stuff, you know, because I definitely want to set up a little home recording rig, you know, besides just video recording. So yeah, I'm ready. It's all good. I'm ready for what may come.
But that's what I did. I spent literally like 3.5 weeks of watching hours and hours and hours and hours of video. Just kind of like figuring out how to build stuff and produce stuff and calling people. Shout out to Dan Chalinsky. Shout out to Lawrence. You know, and the first day of the 10.5 update, we had a Skype call with like Jordan Cohen from Lawrence and Jacob Collier, and just like, you know, shout out to everyone letting me bother them with tons of questions.
Yeah, no doubt.
How to produce stuff. So that's how it came about. I just was bored.
We got one. I'll ask another fan question, and then you said you got some stuff that you could play for us over on your end.
Yeah, what you want to hear?
I don't know, but I guess we should. Well, we should probably hear the quarantine. So I'll ask this question, and then we'll get cracking with that. What is something that you hope to achieve in the next few months or years? This is from Shelly, a good fan of the show. Thank you, Shelly. I appreciate you.
Yeah, Shelly. Something that I want to achieve in the next few months or years. In the next few months, I want to have this recording project done and out. So that's in the next few months. In the next few years, you know, I want to be on the road with my band, playing the music I want to play.
Yeah.
For people I want to play for. And you know, my whole thing is there's lots of different things I want to do. I want to host television programs, and I want to, you know, I have lots of aspirations, and I hope to see some of those through in the next couple of years.
Yeah, that's real. Do you have any favorite memories on the road? Favorite cities that you love to rock? Like anytime you see it on the bill, you like, here we go. This is my jam right here.
You know, yesterday was Emmett's birthday, and I was like on my story going through. This
shout out to Emmett. What's up, man? I hope everything's well.
It's like looking at pictures of like me and Emmett and Russell, and you know, just all these crazy memories from crazy places. I have a special place in my heart for Nashville, as just the community of people there, who I think are hilarious. So love there. I have a special place, lots of memories in LA, lots of memories in Copenhagen, lots of memories, and you know, in London. I was watching the Shanghai vlog the other day. You know? Yeah. I have lots of favorite memories, but I think it's less about the city and more about the people I'm surrounded by. You know?
How was it a surreal experience recording with George Coleman?
Mr. Coleman, yeah. Shout out to Emmett, yeah.
Shout out to Emmett.
Yeah, we made that trio record with me, Emmett, Russell, and Mr. Coleman. Emmett did a series called the Masters Legacy series, and he's made one with Sir Ron Carter, bass player, and Jimmy Cobb, rest his soul, Tootie Heath. So he called me, and Benny Golson. He called me for the George Coleman one, and we went over to Mr. Coleman's house. There's a vlog about it if you want to watch it. So.
Check it out. So yeah, go on Bryan's page, and it's a YouTube series, and we can check that out on there. Yeah. So if you want to hear that story, you go check it out on Bryan's page. I like that. Yeah. And make sure you follow him and all that good stuff.
We went to his place and picked up some music, and he really just wanted to hang and tell us stories, and yeah.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
Master.
I would love it. Did he talk about the '64 concert? Did he say like why
yeah.
the second half? Why they was going crazy on the second half?
He has lots and lots of stories. Some of which I don't know if I can share here.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. I'll get him on here.
No, you should.
I'm gonna try. Shit, I definitely will try. Yeah, I'm open to everybody. If I can get a line on them, I'm open to everybody and anybody. That's honestly why I started doing like 3 days a week, because I was like, man, it's so many people I want to talk to. Yeah. I ain't got shit else to do, so whatever. It's like, my schedule is empty, bro. And I mean, like I said, I've made something to do, but like at the end of the day, man, honestly, I think it's important to document this time and get to know my people on a deeper level. So anyway, speaking of deep, how deep is your love? How did you come up with this one? With this, with the idea for it? We can talk about the latest release of Quarantunes.
How deep is your love? I've always been obsessed with the song. I've been even more obsessed with the version from PJ Morton and Yebba. Shout out to Yebba.
Shout out to PJ Morton, yeah.
Yeah. So I knew that I wanted to cover that song in a somewhat non-serious way. So yeah, that's how I kind of came up with the concept of the song. I knew that I wanted to include, because the very first one I did, the Bruno Mars one, was very much just me, and I knew I wanted to include friends in this one. So
yeah,
Braxton Cook, Ross Campbell, all the way. It's an international affair. Ross, all the way from Scotland.
Word.
I met Ross at the Edinburgh Jazz Festival, and he came up.
Yeah, shout out. I just met shout out to the Edinburgh Jazz Fest. I was like, I knew somebody from there followed me. It was cool. So yeah, killing.
So, Ross and Benny Benack. Benny, who plays on it, and we shot the intro with him. I was like, who's silly enough to let me roast him in the intro of this video?
I got beer and Cheetos.
And the whole thing just falls and explodes. And of course, that was very real. That was not in the script. It's literally.
I love Benny so much, man. Benny puts it all out there. He is himself. You got to appreciate people when they themselves. Straight no chaser. I love Benny for that, man. Shout out to Benny. Shout out to Benny B.
He dropped it, and we were kind of like, should we run away? And I was like, actually, you know what? We should go and we should shoot it and have you be like, actually, now I just have Cheetos. And people were walking by, they just see this massive mess on the ground and just looking at us like,
why are you guys outside?
We had masks and gloves on.
Wow. Yeah, man. All right. Well, why don't we check out a little bit of that, man? We got about. I know Instagram gonna kick me off in probably about 6 minutes. So yeah, we can check out a little bit of that one, man.
All right.
But this is How Deep Is Your Love from Quarantunes. Are you gonna put this on any other platforms? No. Okay. Cool.
YouTube.
Go to YouTube and check it out. Quarantunes. There's the first one. I can't remember the title of it, but the Bruno Mars cover. What was it?
Corona's out the door.
Corona's out the door. So yeah, Corona's out the door. And this is How Deep Is Your Love, a cover of How Deep Is Your Love by the Bee Gees. I thought that was actually an original song. So I love history learned.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Are you playing it or am I playing?
I thought you were playing it.
Oh no, I was playing. I can play it. I was like, all right.
I thought you was playing it. Yeah, I mean.
Hey, let me go to YouTube and pull it up. I'm just looking at you. You looking at me, and I was like,
here we go. Hey, you know, while you pulling it up, I'll ask you one more question. What do you think, Juilliard? What was your favorite class and why?
My favorite class had nothing to do with jazz. My favorite class,
I believe it,
was an ear training class, and it was simply because of a teacher, Miss Mary Anthony Cox. God rest her soul. I believe she started teaching at Juilliard in the 50s or 60s. She taught everyone who went through Juilliard had Miss Cox at one point in time, and she was the most serious, like just no nonsense teacher, you know. But literally the best teacher I ever had, ever.
Got you.
I remember one time being at Jazz Lincoln Center, and Wynton had just finished the show, and I saw Miss Cox standing by the stage door, and they had like the security people outside, and Miss Cox was like, "Oh, Mr. Carter." I was like, "Yes, ma'am." She was like, "Honey, can you take me backstage? I'd like to say hello to Mr. Marcells." You know, and Christian McBride was backstage too. And,
shout out to Christian McBride.
Yeah. And so, you know, we first we walk and we run into Christian, and he was just like, "Miss Cox," and like you see like tears swell in his eyes, and
oh wow, it was deep.
It was really deep. And then we walk and you see Wynton, and there's like all these people surrounding him, and you know he's like hunched over signing something, and you just hear like in her Miss Cox voice, in the way that only Miss Cox would say it, like, "Now, honey, stand up straight." You know, and like he was like, "Oh, Miss Cox," and you know, again like tears welling in his eyes, and he just like goes and gives her like the biggest hug, and I just hear like Jen Stewart, who was his manager at the time. She was just like, "Who is that? I've never seen him like do that with anyone." I was like, "It's Mary Anthony Cox. She's a legend."
Wow, that's beautiful, man. Shout out to, again, another master educator. Yeah. Y'all make the difference. Educators make the difference. We appreciate you. Yeah.
All right. I got it.
Cool. I did pull it up now, but you probably got better sound.
You got it, Chris.
But you probably got better sound, so you do it.
I'm just on my laptop. You got it.
All right, bet. Here we go. So this is How Deep Is Your Love? We just go. I guess we're gonna start it from the top. So here we go. Let's. It's probably gonna play that intro, but let's see what happens.
By the way, Braxton, your new record is killing, bro. It's exactly what the world needs right now.
Exactly what the world needs, Brian.
Hey, DB3. Yo, man, it's me. Buzz me up. I got beer and Cheetos. Well, now, actually, I just have Cheetos. Bro, it's quarantine and you were sick last week. Bro, come on. It's not like I'm sick. It's just my, allergies. Benny, you had a fever. Look, man, I don't know. Let's hang in a couple of weeks and this is all over, okay? Dude, come on. I scooted all the way down here and I got snacks. Benny, come on, bro. You know I love you, man. But, well, let me say it like this.
Yeah. Jameson Ross, what's up, bro? Yeah, I'm gonna stop it only because that. But shout out to Bryan for that, man. Well, like I said, beautiful stuff. We got 20 seconds. Do you have anything you want to share with the people?
Yeah, peace and love, everybody. Continue to take care of each other, especially during these difficult times.
Beautiful. Hey, appreciate y'all, man. This will be up on my page in a second. I'll see you soon, Bryan. Thank you, brother.
Chris, I'll see you soon, man.
See you.